For as long as I can remember, music has been a part of my life. Both of my parents have been involved in the music industry, and I grew up sleeping in studios. Almost everyone in my family has participated in the music industry in some way, and even my children have demonstrated music ability far beyond their years. So as you can see, music truly is the family business. For years, I thought that my most important gift and number one skill was singing. And I thought I was going to travel the world as a professional singer and enjoy sharing my voice with the world. Well, I've done a lot of that work, and I've had the opportunity to record with a lot of top artists. I've performed in many places around the country, and I've even put together a couple of albums. But what I discovered in my journey were some things that really shifted how I look at things. So first off, I started teaching music at a school, and I started realizing that there is nothing like the joy of helping someone else shine. I love being a part of watching somebody overcome some things that they thought they couldn't do. And I've seen some of my students go from very timid young women to amazing powerhouses on the stage. And it brings me so much joy to see them shine like that. So that is a skill set that I discovered in my journey, using my music through teaching and directing choirs and using music for life skills through the arts work. And that was a huge passion of mine that came out of my passion for singing. But in addition to that, about 16 years ago, I went through a really difficult situation while I was pregnant with my daughter. And the emotional trauma that I went through at that time just added to the physical challenge of being pregnant. To make for a very difficult situation for my body. It was very stressful, and my body started to break down. When you add to that after my daughter was born, of course, I wasn't getting much sleep because it's a brand new baby. That contributed to it as well, and eventually I looked up and my health was really declining. I wasn't able to handle just basic levels of stress. I wasn't sleeping well, and then my ligaments started to be like overstretched rubber bands. It got to a point where I couldn't lay flat on my back or lean forward because the gravity on my ligaments was just way too painful. So I had to sleep sitting up. And then it got to a point where I wasn't even able to physically pick my daughter up, and she was only 3 at the time. And that was a very difficult thing for me. But the final straw was the day that I woke up and I literally could not talk. I was totally mute. And as I mentioned, being a professional singer and music teacher, speaker, I was doing all kinds of work that involved my voice. But more importantly, I love connecting with other people. And not being able to speak, I couldn't even imagine a life like that. So I was in a total panic. Thank goodness, my father introduced me to somebody who was a specialist in adrenal glands. And it turned out that what was happening with me is that my adrenal glands were in almost complete shutdown because of the stress that I had carried with me for all those years. And what was really a huge learning lesson for me in that one is that, I was holding on to all this rage and anger at a person who I felt had really done me wrong. And more importantly, I was beating myself up for the choices that I made that got me into that situation in the first place. And so the situation never really got to be resolved because I was carrying it all within me. And that is what broke me down. So when you're on an airplane and they tell you to put the mask on yourself first and then put it on your children, I got to learn that life lesson in a very harsh way. So I spent years helping myself to learn how to communicate more effectively, set my boundaries, and be able to communicate effectively so that I could let people know what it was that I needed without creating conflict. Because that was a big issue for me. I didn't want to create conflict. I wanted to keep the peace at all costs. And what I discovered was that the cost was usually me. So through that experience, I recognized that my body is my instrument. And coming from a background as a music person, I am very well aware of how a master musician treats their instrument. And I realized I need to treat my body the way that a master musician treats his instrument. So I started to really take care of myself on a lot of levels, and then I started to extend that to helping other people. As a vocal coach, I had been working with people for years, but I started to include some of the techniques that I had been learning and started to help people start managing their own stress so that they could take care of their own instruments. Interestingly enough, that started to extend out to actors, dancers, and speakers, and now, most recently, I've been utilizing the skill sets that I had to help people who are small business owners to be able to present their businesses more effectively. And in particular, those people who really want to make a difference in the world. I am very, very passionate about doing things that uplift and inspire and motivate other people. For me, singing has never been about entertainment. It's always been about making that connection, creating an experience, uplifting, inspiring, motivating other people. And so I've been taking that same drive and passion that I have when I'm singing and applying that to my speaking and my presentations, and as well my coaching work with people. So as a dynamic presentation coach, I've been able to help many people who are small business people, entrepreneurs who are just getting started, or they've plateaued, or they're working for that next level of success, to be able to present themselves more effectively and memorably so that people will remember them above and beyond all the other people that they've been hearing about. So that's been my journey. It's been a very interesting one. Music will always be a part of what it is that I do. And I'm looking forward to incorporating my music into my speaking work as well. There's a lot that I'm working on, and I'm really excited to be able to share that with people. But that's my journey. That's how music has affected me. It has led me into all kind of paths that I never would have gone down had I not accepted certain challenges and gone through some really difficult experiences. So that's my life. That's how music has affected me. I hope that is inspiring to somebody in some way, and I'm looking forward to be able to continue to do my work.